It was a curious sensation. He thought there would be pain, and there was for a moment. A feeling had pierced him like an arrow, but left just as swiftly, sailing past into the vast empty air, and leaving behind nothing but a crippled limb and an absence of mobility. A subtle wave of not quite tranquillity had poured over his slick and arching back. He settled himself down, drawing the broken thing in with the others to hide for what little time they each had left. It was still his after all, despite its newfound uselessness. Others crawled past, wandering about the walls and ceilings in blissful worlds of their own. They knew just as well as he did. The solitude had fallen about him the moment he was forced to stop moving. He had no cause to blame them. They were each a creature not apart from the others. Some buzzed softly against the great clear barrier with no obvious direction. The thought had crossed his mind to simply let his bright back open and allow his crumbling form to be carried away. But he knew it to be futile. Regardless of where he let his wings take him, he'd remained where he landed, in the same position, and with no certainty about when he'd be allowed to go. At least here he could see his family creep about him, watch the paling sky, and reflect on the piles of corpses beneath him. He watched as it emerged, terrible in its elegance. It wasted not a single movement as leg after leg fluttered from its nest and arched forwards with a graceful and ravenous purpose. Its twitching gazes weren't bothered by the masses of prey which ran easily within its grasp. It had no need to make a feast. As desperately as he'd hoped, a gasping fear rose within him. He clung to the knowledge that he'd still have some time to spare. He'd seen others last minutes, and his shell was as strong as any. Bracing against his shallow bastion, he flicked his head away from his death, instead choosing his last images to be that of the leaves which wound their way past the glossy boundary. Silence crept towards him. He knew it was near. A thought of the breeze shifted through him, and he felt his eyes close. As the tendrils of wind closed about him, he allowed himself to go with it, and slowly drift away.